Boy, hi, Gene. How you doing, my friend?
Hi, Eddie. How you doing?
Well, fine, because it's kind of my time to shine now. Because
This is your moment. These are your classes. These are your builds, my friend.
yes, and my style of stuff. So we're gonna do a quick shot about talking about the Warlock now, right?
Oh, we're gonna do the Warlock.
Yeah, let's do Warlock first to start.
Let's just remind everybody who we are.
We are the middle-aged barbarians.
I'm Eugene. He's Eddie.
Yeah, we already said that.
Roll the intro.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. Oh man.
So, okay, what's the deal with the barbarian? What's the deal with the barbarian?
Barbarian.
That's
No,
us, not
us,
the
no,
class.
The Warlock, my
with
friend.
the Warlock, yeah. Basically, they've done a few changes, following the pattern of what we talked last time we talked. They streamlined a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It kind of makes sense in a way, and sometimes some of the stuff doesn't really make sense to me. But I'll tell you a little bit about it. There used to be a class feature called Pact Boon.
Yeah.
They subsumed it into their invocations, and the invocations, they made them available since first level.
If I'm not mistaken, because I've never played a Warlock, just a small caveat for those out there. Pact Boon is like you pick your god or your focus from where you get your power from at level 1, and that sticks with you supposedly the whole time.
Yes, and you get you get benefits from them. They changed it to make them to following the same structure as the rest of the classes. They made them subclasses now. So your patron becomes your subclass at third level. You can choose which sort of patron you choose, and they give you, in this case, spells and special abilities based on the lines they have. Obviously, these are probably meant to be expanded upon because there are a couple of kind of classic concepts that are not really present here. But we'll talk a little bit about that in a bit.
The word wonky keeps coming to mind, but okay.
The word wonky.
Yeah, a little wonky.
I mean, the class since the beginning, it has always been a pretty odd place because it's kind of what they tried to do with the sorcerer back in the day, having like this spellcaster that kind of was a ranged cannon of sorts and giving him a little bit of utility, so it's a little bit in a weird spot. And they also have the theme of being this sort of having a deal with outer powers, which is kind of the point of the patrons. They were never actually gods. They were usually kind of weird concepts.
Otherworldly or demonic
or celestial or fae in this case.
This would have given the satanic panic reason to be.
Oh, yes. And the warlocks, I mean, the stereotype is having them like pierced and this really alt look. I mean, in my imagination, warlocks are either like really goth, really dark, or kind of e-girls, or e-boys, because they're e-boys as well, like really colorful and crazy. If they're like of the sort of the good spot.
You touch them, you cut yourself on their edge.
What?
If you touch them, you'll cut yourself on their edge.
Yes, kind of. Yeah, they need like special protections a little bit.
All right, I won't interrupt you anymore, man.
Yeah, but speaking of edge, they gave him as another thing that they made different is they gave him new familiars. Ooh. Which is very common to use them as and speaking of that kind of also think doesn't help a lot. I mean, we'll have to see it in action properly, but the adding of so many familiars and companions preoccupies me a little bit in the sense of the combat. How is it going to work out? Because usually, I mean, you don't need that many people to. It slows down combat in a bit, but in another way, it seems really efficient because they can do really good things really fast. And the cool thing they made, or thematically interesting, they added a few new familiars that you can get. You can get a skeleton if you want to be like a metal album cover.
But if you walk into a town and you have your familiar with you, you don't think people are going to freak out if there's like a skeleton walking around?
Yes, of course. I mean, this is the sort of thing that, I mean, DMs will have to
manage. DMs can have a field day with this.
Yeah, you can also get a slat tadpole, like a baby slat.
I saw that. Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, it's freaking cool. I mean, yeah, that's the point. It's freaking weird and cool in a way that this thing can burrow on people and come out like an alien. I mean, probably not going to happen that much because it's not that powerful, but it can do that. And they introduced something called a Sphinx of Wonder. This is kind of
little star cat thing that they showed.
What?
Little like starry cat.
Yeah, so my belief is they're trying to establish sphinxes. Well, they surmised that they wanted to establish sphinxes as a new kind of creature that's important, sort of like a demon, like demons, devils, angels, celestials of all sorts. You're gonna have now sphinxes as a variation. So that's pretty interesting. What else is interesting? Well, the patrons that they developed, that they showed us, is a fate-based patron, celestial-based patron, fiendish, not just not divided infernal and demonic, and great old ones, which are
the
Cthulhu thing, but yeah, and
it's aberrations, right?
Aberrations and so forth. Yeah, technically they could actually use the name Cthulhu, but it's a kind of worms. I don't know if you know this, but Cthulhu is in the public domain.
I'm not very up to date on what's public or not, but yeah.
Yeah, it's in the public. That was why Cthulhu is so popular as a theme for board games or things of the sort. Yeah, it's public domain. So this is due because of some old American copyright laws. They didn't renew the registry of the brand or the documents, and it passed into public domain really early.
That's cool.
So yeah, that's why we got Cthulhu all over the place. But they probably wouldn't use that because they rather have their own IP, and it's not that difficult to do so.
So what's the difference between these subclasses? I mean, like, is there anything just other than their patron saints, or what's the deal?
Well, they have different powers. For instance, the Fae-based one, like most Fae, it's based on trickery. They also have different spells.
Okay.
A small spell list that didn't publish a full spell list, but it has different spells that you get at each at certain levels, and you automatically have them. You prepare them similarly to a wizard. And you have a lot of trickery-based things. You have like a Fae step, which is you teleport a little bit.
It's like Misty Step kind of thing, like a
that and
door, like a
that. I don't know. And a celestial, you get a curation, and you get a sort of smite, a sort of pseudo smite.
Okay.
Which is kind of cool. But I mean,
in a way, are warlocks kind of like arcane clerics?
Yeah, that would be a good way to put them. Yeah, they're kind of arcane clerics,
but they're edgy.
Well, I mean, you can also be an edgy cleric. Come on, you can have like, I don't know, your god of death and pain and piercings and yeah, that would be pretty cool. And tattoos and scarifications and I don't know, something weird, cinnamon and
yeah,
and that's your
patron god Lemmy. You just have a
Lemmy like a god,
giant Lemmy face on your shield.
Of course, yeah, you can do something like that.
All in all, okay.
And yeah, we got that. And fiends, well, they have barriers, resistances, and bonuses. And great old ones, well, you get weird stuff with aberrations and things like that, like based on mind-based powers, madness, and stuff of the sort.
Okay.
And you get different sorts of bonuses depending on probably some new. Well, back in the day, they were called vestiges, not patrons. But I mean, you could work with stuff like that. Like I don't know, like have a patron, an ancient race, extinct race could be your patron, and deceased god, something like that, could also be your patron. You could do really weird things with how they work.
I'm sure that could be worked very well into a very like a personalized story, adventure, or campaign arc.
Yeah, I think the four subclasses are pretty well versed because you can be a little bit more specific with your patron. Perhaps your patron is I don't know, Beelzebub, and you have some Beelzebub theme things with that because part of the new class is that you're able to communicate. Okay. The patron sends you messages, a little bit cryptic, a little bit kind of dreamlike, not just like do this, but
that's something they couldn't do before, right?
Not really, no. Yeah, even before, sometimes the patrons were like weird. You can get like sort of pseudo auguries. You could get like ideas, but not direct communication. So that's cool. I mean, role playing wise. So we'll have to see the full set of rules of the outcomes, but it does look cool. Looks interesting, and it does look really streamlined. Although, well, if you feel it's still a little bit wonky, but like most spellcasters, well, I get it, but.
I don't know. Like I said, I've never played a warlock. So you who have played warlocks, you're excited about this? You think
it looks very interesting. I mean, obviously, I'm more excited about the wizard, which we'll talk in a little bit. But yeah, it does seem that it will work really well because a lot of things that were confusing and you kind of forgot or you just chose like basically the same options because there was like a very clear way to optimize a warlock. It now seems a little bit more balanced between the subclasses, well, the different Patreons and the different options. So that seems pretty well. You can also be like, because one of the main powers is their Eldritch Blast, which is kind of like, I don't know, like Mega Man, your cannon that you launch your attacks. You can either specialize on that or be a little bit more open on your spell casting or be a little bit more utility based. Be a little bit, I don't know, for instance, you can, if you're a Fey based warlock, you can be a little bit more, you can help out the rogue to gain advantages, to do very tactical things, something like that. I mean, it can be built in very different ways, which is...
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's good. It's interesting.
I look forward to the day that somebody plays within a party that I'm in.
Sure. So I mean, that would probably be me sometime. But yeah, we should we'll probably do a test run in a bit once everything's out.
Once it's published, it'd be interesting.
Yeah, and we'll talk about it right here. So I'm guessing, it's a little scatterbrained, but we're looking forward to seeing more of this. And, okay. All right. Well, that's been us.
All right. So as always, leave any comments. Are you excited about the Warlock? Is there something you do not like? Is there something you love about it? Let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and keep following us because we will be covering every little class that comes out and probably giving an opinion about some of the stuff that's going on related to the 2024 re-release of D&D. So it's been us.
And as always,
rage responsibly. See you next episode.
Roll the